everyone. I'm Donna Fiducia. He's Don Neuen. I saw the number 2 pencil coming. Actually,
this is not necessarily a number 2 pencil.
Yes, it is.
This is a carpenter's pencil.
But I think that's a number 2.
I don't know. Ron, help us out.
Ron makes those
Are
Cowboy
these number 2
logic.
I have
pencils?
no idea. I don't know if the lead in those is number 2 or not.
I bet they are. And you know, it's really, what's really bad about number 2 pencils is they kind of make you nervous.
Your beaver's a lot harder than mine.
That you have to take.
That's because I think I wear my beaver more often.
Standardized test.
My beaver is old and worn.
Mine is not. Mine is nice and new. Okay. Anyhow, Don is a
Beaver talk.
hog waller, folks. In fact, it seems like we are all hog wallers. We're working class people.
Yep.
We are people who actually pay taxes and might live out in the sticks. Because there is a hog waller cafe that we happen to go to. Because Don really likes to go out and have breakfast. Actually, late breakfast.
Sometimes don't make
lunch.
it up in time.
Yep.
All of you people that are watching Cowboy Logic at 6 a.m. on Saturday.
Exactly. So there's this cafe called the Hog Waller Cafe. So we go there, and then we come back and we work around the farm on Saturdays.
Oftentimes we'll get bacon at the Hog Waller Cafe.
So as we're leaving yesterday, we're going, what the hell is a hog waller? So we look it up. And folks, I guess it's similar to being deplorable. Smelly Walmart shoppers, too. A hog waller is a poor town or out-of-the-way place that's populated by hillbillies and their farm animals. We be hog wallers.
Yep.
So then I looked up what's a hillbilly.
Then she got on a roll and started looking up all kinds of stuff.
Technically, what's a hillbilly? I want to know. Plural, hillbillies. A person from a backwoods area, mostly who dwell in mountainous areas of the U.S., primarily the Appalachians or the Ozarks.
That's like Ron. Ron's a hillbilly.
In New Jersey, they call them the Jackson Whites. They're all over the place. I'm sorry.
But
they
what's
are.
a hellbilly? We've got one of our favorite getter folks, hellbilly. Is that like a bad hillbilly?
I think it's basically trying to. Not exactly. He's raising hell, and he's a hillbilly. That's what I see. Okay. So then I look up redneck.
Hillbilly.
Sometimes disparaging.
Got a shout out.
Rednecks are sometimes disparaging. A white member of the southern rural laboring class, but not exclusively applied to white Americans. You're crass, you're unsophisticated, maybe sunburned necks, which Don has actually from working on the farm yesterday, from farmers the last couple hundred years. So if you're Jeff Foxworthy, you do know what a redneck is, and you might be
Did you
redneck.
notice? I don't have my glasses on. Read that last definition.
Redneck is a white member of the southern rural laboring class.
A white member.
Right.
Okay. But it doesn't necessarily have to be white.
No, we know plenty of black hillbillies and rednecks, quite honestly. We do. There's a lot.
But why do they even start it off saying a white member?
Because I guess they have to. And it says not exclusively applied to white Americans.
But why? See, this is bothering me a little bit.
I have no idea, but it seems like we are the Lao Beijing of America. We are what Bannon talks about all the time, the slave labor of the CCP. Technically, that's us. We might have a little better standard of living, but barely, because we're hog wallers, hillbillies, and rednecks.
All right. Well, we're going to move on from hog waller, and I want to talk about. Listen, I want to talk about J6 a little bit here. Mm-hmm. Now, given the fact that President Trump was indicted last week, or by the time you watch this, a week and a half ago, there were some people that were taking great joy in what was going on. And obviously that's disappointing to see and watch and hear. But there's a very controversial individual that is deeply involved with January 6th. And his name is Michael Fanone. And Michael Fanone claims that he was beaten basically into submission by J6ers. And there were some things that did go on during that moment in time. But he was extremely, what's the word I'm looking for, where you would ignite a fire.
He was
He was over the top in an interview that he had on CNN. And I'm not going to describe it anymore. I'm going to let you all make your own decisions on how you feel Michael Fanone is as his character may show in this clip.
And notice the CNN anchor's reaction. Even she was appalled.
Laura Coates. All right, Ron, roll this. Let's get a thought on this.
When I first learned about the indictment, I had a long conversation with a friend of mine, Ryan Riley, and I told him how proud I felt to be an American at that moment, much in the way that I did when I learned that our military had killed Osama bin Laden. I just felt incredibly proud.
These two seem comparable to you?
Incredibly proud to have been.
I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but why that comparison in particular?
I believe they're comparable.
In what way?
Absolutely. Osama bin Laden was a terrorist who committed a horrific act against American people and against our republic. And I believe that Donald Trump is a terrorist who committed horrific acts against the American people.
You can imagine that is a very eyebrow-raising statement, to say the least. The notion of Osama bin Laden in a comparison to Donald Trump, it likely speaks to just how deeply you have been concerned and have felt about all of this. But are you concerned that statements like that, or the rhetoric surrounding what his role has been, is going to cloud people's view of this indictment as a fair process?
I think that the only person or people whose view matters with regards to this indictment are the jurors who will eventually be sat and listen to the facts and ultimately make a judgment as to whether or not Donald Trump is guilty of the charges that Jack Smith and the Department of Justice have brought forward.
The DOJ, as
Other
you know,
than that, what I say or what Republican lawmakers say is just, shit to take up time on cable news.
Well, I do appreciate the way you want to spend my evening.
Yeah, ours too.
I don't think she did appreciate
Mr.
it,
Fanone.
actually. Let me tell you who he really is, though. And Julie Kelly has come out with this. She's had some great stuff the last couple of weeks. He's not your working class kid. He grew up with a silver spoon. He went to Georgetown Prep. And his father apparently is a big-time attorney connected to the Democrat Party. He used to talk with a Southern accent. Suddenly, Julie's noticing with what she's seen lately that, and we could see it there, the Southern accent's
There are people that are
gone.
talking about, I'm not interested in the guy's accent. Let me interject something here, please,
but
Donna.
you should know about what the background is.
Look, this is a perfect example of what's going on inside that D.C. bubble.
Yeah.
That was reprehensible. While he's entitled to his opinion, and we respect that, I don't understand why that is not considered insightful language. You guys make your own decisions. All we're interested in with regard to J6 is the damn truth. That's it. If there were people that did things wrong on that day, they should be punished. It should be fair and just punishment, just like anybody else in any other part of the United States goes through for the same exact crime. But for this man to sit on front, and you could see Laura Coates was appalled at what she was hearing coming out of this man's mouth. We just want the truth. And we don't need this kind of crap infecting the airwaves. We have covered J6 more than any other national show. But all we want is the truth. More of the truth when we come back. You're watching Cowboy Logic TV.
everybody. Donna Fiducia, Cowboy Logic, here to talk about My Pillow and My Store. Mike Lindell has such great products, and if you use the promo code 1776, you get additional discounts. First of all, the My Pillow dog beds. They come in 3 different sizes. We get the big ass ones because we got big ass mutts, that's for sure. Big ass rescue dogs, and they're even reversible, which is great, and washable. Machine washable. Then you've got the coffee. Comes in many different flavors. My coffee is awesome. We've got the decaf, we've got the regular, we've got the dark roast. You just can't beat it. My Pillow and My Store, promo code 1776, supports Cowboy Logic and certainly supports Mike Lindell. And of course, you can't not talk about My Pillow. My Pillow 2.0 is out there right now, and Mike Lindell has great specials with that. Again, it's My Pillow and My Store. Promo code 1776 supports the show and Mike Lindell. Cowboy Logic. Let's talk about elections. Let me ask you, will you stop? How many registered voters do you think there are in the United States?
5.
Seriously, how many registered voters in the whole U.S.? Give a guess.
150 million.
Okay, no, 100, close. 133 million.
Okay.
How many actually voted in the 2020 election?
497 million.
Well,
more than the population of the United States.
Well, yeah, 159 million. So it's 133 registered, 159 million voted. So you can't tell me. See, here in Georgia, I actually have this Georgia notes right here. I've had it for months here. Multiple images of the same ballots scanned repeatedly, and they actually have the video of it. Ruby Friedman and her daughter doing this well after the Republican people who were supposed to be watching what's going on left. And they scanned these ballots for another 2 or 3 hours. Again, none of this has ever been able to come out in court. And a lot of people are saying, well, this could possibly come out in court now that Donald Trump has been indicted on all these charges. Well, the Georgia elections, remember, we were at the Georgia GOP convention, and both Brad Raffensperger and Brian Kemp, the governor, didn't show up. This is at the Georgia GOP convention. But you know what Raffensperger did show up for? This CEIR election summit. Okay, this is what we're doing here. The CEIR is kind of like the ERIC system as well. Okay, so they didn't attend the Georgia GOP convention, but they went to this. Jamie Raskin was the keynote speaker, and Raffensperger, rat's ass booger, as Jovan Hutton Pulitzer calls him, the Secretary of State of Georgia, was on a panel. CEIR was funded by Mark Zuckerberg, $69 million worth. Okay, these are basically all with the machines, the ERIC system. Remember, Raskin had called for Trump to be jailed over January 6th, which they're working very hard to do. But apparently CEIR and the ERIC system, David Becker, were all involved with this. They're fighting to keep the ERIC system going. And as we've seen with many of the people we've had on our show, there's really no ERIC system. It's just a handful of people.
There certainly aren't any employees. A
couple states have opted out of it, but they're trying very hard to get Georgia to opt out of it. And Raffensperger isn't going to go along with this.
Have we figured out how many employees are actually there?
I think it's like 2 or 3. It's one little office in Washington, D.C. that's basically empty.
Do we have any ERIC employees that have opted to be whistleblowers, Donna?
No. The ERIC system is the Electronic Registration Information Center.
So, hold on a second. So we've got 2 or 3 nationwide employees.
Pretty much.
Based on what you're saying.
Pretty much.
None of them are whistleblowers, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, that I'm going to segue into our next topic here, which is that of whistleblowers.
Yep.
You know, last week we had an FBI whistleblower on the show.
Yep, Steve Rennie was awesome.
And whistleblowers now are being treated a lot differently than they were when the whistleblowers were coming forward, many of which were fraudulent, against President Trump.
You couldn't mention their name.
Yeah, yeah. So we've got this supercut that's really, really kind of cool. That talks about these whistleblowers, and you can compare between 2019 and present day the attitude and the position that the mainstream media takes against these whistleblowers just 4 straight years later.
Yep.
Ron, roll it.
The attack on the whistleblower is never wise. It's never lawful. It's never honorable. It's everything you said. It's a travesty. And I'm not going to call them whistleblowers.
They don't deserve whistleblower protection. Each and every one of them has a strange history, has, guess what, Russian connections.
They always do.
These are not, as we would consider them, whistleblowers, people who are alleging wrongdoing.
They weren't really whistleblowers at all. In fact, they weren't even credible witnesses.
2 or 3 people who are political operatives, but they're not whistleblowers. These guys are not whistleblowers, period.
Is a hardworking, patriotic person in the intelligence community who just wants to put the information out there.
The president to call into question the credibility of this whistleblower. They're referring to this whistleblower as the so-called whistleblower.
So so-called whistleblower on the Biden family.
Welcome back to so-called whistleblower. From the so-called whistleblowers.
See so-called whistleblowers.
So-called whistleblowers.
So-called whistleblowers.
So-called whistleblower.
So-called whistleblower.
So-called whistleblowers.
Whistleblowers, that's what he's calling them.
Whistleblower.
Quote-unquote whistleblowers.
They're alleged IRS whistleblower.
The GOP is marketing as whistleblowers.
Quote-unquote whistleblowers.
Jim Jordan, who's the chair of the Oversight Committee, is lauding them as brave Americans.
Whistleblower, a true patriot coming forward with the allegations.
But that's why the whistleblower is a hero in many ways.
This whistleblower is a hero.
The whistleblower is a public servant.
And now,
To stay anonymous.
like heroism is being kind of thrust on this person.
We can't imply this person is partisan.
The person has been deemed credible and a patriot.
With great courage to do the right thing.
The whistleblower did was really patriotic.
This whistleblower was not alone spiritually.
The best composed, best written, best documented such complaint I've ever seen.
Thank you, whistleblower. I consider your complaint to be credible and urgent.
Do what Donald Trump was doing in going after or targeting the people who helped this, I would say, very brave whistleblower. If you've got an allegation against the Biden family, then come on board, because you too can be their next whistleblower.
Hunter Biden's whistleblower. This whistleblower who is going to just tell us all the horrible things he'd been up to.
Reappropriating the term whistleblower after doing everything they could to endanger the life of the actual whistleblower that led to Donald Trump's first impeachment. The actual whistleblower. The actual whistleblower.
On these goose chases by Jim Jordan after these supposed whistleblowers.
Been trying to undermine the institutions that holds the powerful accountable.
To try to come up with a whistleblower who is viable. Whistleblower who is viable. I hope there are more whistleblowers out there.
These folks are sophisticated people inside the White House.
I would say you're true patriots.
Patriotic and dedicated Americans that this country has.
This whistleblower, this is another human being. It is a terrifying prospect to go and try to sound an alarm about the most powerful person in the country. The major pillars that prop up the Republican fiction that President Joe Biden and his family are entangled in some sort of criminal enterprise. The first pillar, a so-called whistleblower.
Nice job, Grabian. Hey, we love their supercuts. We love Grabian. Thank you and good work.
They are awesome. So-called whistleblower.
Yeah, so-called. I don't know about you guys, but how stupid do you have to be to watch these networks? How brain dead? How much of a mental patient, a mental midget do you have to be to watch that crap, much less buy into it? They need to have little superhero outfits like Captain Obvious, Captain Stupid. That's what they need to be wearing.
But a lot of people have no idea that there are alternate forms of news out there, like Real America's Voice. I mean, it's really, they said, Fox is horrible, and so they can't watch Fox.
Well,
actually,
Fox is
right
horrible,
now,
and I can't watch
I kind of
Fox.
agree with that. But the bottom line is, it's amazing how people have that older thought of it's network news, and we believe everything they say. What should have clued you in a couple of years ago was burning buildings like Baghdad Bob up there saying, it's a mostly peaceful demonstration, when every city in the country is basically burning down. It's amazing to me. It's intellectually lazy, actually.
It's intellectually inept.
Well, the Marxists bank on that.
Listen, we've got about a minute, and we have to go to break here. I need to share with you what's going to be coming up in, I believe, the fourth segment. Mm-hmm. About 3 weeks ago, we recorded a segment with Brother Bart Shively and
Captain Sticky
Bun. And so you're going to see a wardrobe change, okay, because we recorded this like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yep.
Here's the thing. On the, let's see, it's going to be 13 days from today. So, Ron, help me out with that date.
Well, he's first one getting out.
2 weeks from yesterday, Ron. I just need the date. Probably when you're watching this show.
That's the 19th.
The 19th.
Okay, is that the Saturday?
Yes.
Okay.
So.
As of right now, on August 19th, Bart Shively is going home. We're going to play a segment coming up that is Bart's farewell speech to you guys. Get those nickels ready for the Give, Send, Go. You're watching Cowboy Logic. We'll be right back.
Hey, gang, you know what food is great for you? Honey. And now it's time to MakeHoneyGreatAgain.com.
Yeah, baby.
Well, show this. Hold on. This Donald Trump, isn't that if nothing else, you're going to save the bottle afterward. You're not supposed to eat that much of it.
Yeah.
MakeHoneyGreatAgain.com. Again, honey really is something.
Drink honey like I do and do 4 or 5 takes of it.
MakeHoneyGreatAgain.com. Honey really is a superfood.
Woo! I'm all jacked up on that honey high.
You can cook with it. You know that it's great for you. I drink it actually with a little apple cider vinegar, and it tastes great, and it's good for you. Helps you lose weight. MakeHoneyGreatAgain.com. Promo code 1776.
Hey, Donna, I'm all jacked up. Why? This is the 4th take of this commercial, and each time I'm drinking honey, so I'm all jacked up on the natural sugar high.
All right, everybody. Welcome back. We're up in the D.C. gulag. And we've got one of our beloved Jan Sixers on here. We've had him on before. But I'd like you to welcome Peter Steger to the show. And Peter's coming to us now in a different chapter of his J6 horror story.
Nightmare.
And that is that this is now post-sentencing, which means that he was convicted or he pled guilty, but has now been sentenced by a judge. Peter Steger, welcome back to Cowboy Logic, my friend. Would you care to update us on what's going on in your world? Because you're still in D.C. waiting to be shipped out.
Yeah, hey, Peter.
Absolutely. And I want to thank the audience and everyone for tuning in, and thank God for walking me through this journey and keeping grace over these men and keeping us protected. So my case has been adjudicated, of course, and I've always been very transparent and open about it. I've taken responsibility for my actions on that tragic, absolutely nightmarish day. Probably the worst that I've ever witnessed and seen in American history. So I was sentenced to 52 months, which I believe to be the fairest outcome that we could find under the circumstances of going through the court process. Now, I won't bash the prosecution or the judge in any manner, because I believe ultimately in my case it was a lot different than most. I was given a very, very, very fair ruling considering the circumstances. Now my legal team, Amy Collins, God sent. I cannot rave enough about the wonderful representation that she gave me. You guys have a loved one that needs to be defended, I would advise looking into Price Benowitz. They did a stellar job, specifically Amy Collins. Again, now that's really it in a nutshell. Just to kind of glaze over that, I did take responsibility, and I want to tell everyone I consider myself a libertarian at heart, and I don't agree with murder, killing, and war. So what I saw on January 6th shook me to my foundations. It was horrific. And if you believe that you can help in a situation when you see women, children, and elderly being abused, do not lose focus in the sight that you can resort in a very primitive manner, because it is always a possibility. Because before January 6th, I would have said I wasn't capable. And the people that know me would say the same. And the way I reacted was nothing more than absolute regression to the primal instinct that it's in all of us. There was a lot of stuff I'm not proud of, but for the most part, my interaction was simply just to help, and to help Americans who I didn't agree with politically in most views, but they didn't deserve the civil rights violations and the basic human dignity to be stripped away from them by the use of lethal force when they were not armed and they were doing nothing more than occupying what they felt was the best thing that they could do at that time. And it was just horrendous at the violations of honor or code or anything from my standpoint by a handful of law enforcement officers who stain the badge that they wear. And I wish that the officers that were the good officers, which is the majority of them, it's time for them to come forward and to start acknowledging the mistakes that were made and the absolute brutality that officers like Bagshaw, who was a white shirt who should have known better and known that his conduct and the way he was brutalizing, say, like Victoria White, when other officers below his rank see that, that gives them the okay, and they then do the same thing as what they saw. But that gentleman is a criminal. It's hard that I call him a gentleman at all, but he's a criminal. And the stain that he left, that's kind of an imprint of the legacy that he holds. And he is the absolute worst of what law enforcement represents. And it's because of escalations like what he did that caused a lot of very good people to respond in a very negative manner. Not all the case, but a lot of the case. A lot of these men that I interact with, to hear the firsthand accounts and the stories that you can verify on film, it's heartbreaking, because they reacted again in manners that simply it just shook them to their foundations, and they couldn't stand it anymore, and that's how they got involved. And one bad day in your life does not represent the body of work you left before you. And a lot of these men like me have left a legacy and a footprint of love, compassion, and sympathy. And this nightmare is almost over for me, fortunately. Not for a lot of these good men who are getting, say like Maccabee, Ronald Maccabee, former police officer, being treated horrendously by his government. This man deserved to be pinned a hero for doing everything he could to help a young lady, Roseanne Boylan, who was murdered by Officer Lila Morris. Now, I don't necessarily. I would say that it was I would think misdemeanor, kind of like Derek Chauvin. But the brutality that ensued by a lot of the officers that Mac tried to clean up while being assaulted by him for doing nothing more than trying to basically help save a human being that we begged and plead for them to stop. These people were injured, they're hurt, they're dying. It was shameful. And for them to continue prosecuting this man, I just find it unconscionable. I wish that the American people would look into this case.
Well, Peter, I tell you, it would be very nice if the audio that we have seen with regard to Colt Maccabee would actually be played along with the video. It's a very different story when you hear that audio. Let me ask you this, and I should qualify that, because Mac was actually trying to help and save other police officers that were going down up there at that tunnel. But you can't tell that unless you listen to the audio.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this, Peter. Did you end up taking a plea deal? Did you end up going against a bench trial or against a jury? Which one were you?
I took a bench trial. Absolutely, and we argued certain facts during the. I guess it would be like a stipulated trial.
Yep.
And now, again, my case is very different in a lot of manners to a lot. I helped and was involved in a lot of stuff before my little 6.5 to 10, 11 seconds of my offense that I ultimately, again, took responsibility for, and was very negative. But what I endured before that is what set the stage for something like that to happen in that very primal action. But again, I raised my children to know that when we make mistakes, we own it and we move forward and we take the consequences for what they are. And for me not to acknowledge my behavior would have undermined all that. And I'll be dang if I'm going to be hypocritical and then cause my children at the age they are, well, me and my wife have built to be anything other than when I taught them to do the right thing. And that's what I represent, and that's what I'm going to do.
You know, Peter, your story is very similar to, I'd say, the vast majority of Jan 6ers we've talked with now through the years. And again, it's a primal instinct for the man to rise up to protect the women, the children, the older people. And again, if you're attacked, and the Jan 6 sham committee pretty much made sure they didn't show what happened first. They only showed the reaction, if at all. And they overdubbed things, that it gets to the point where that you wonder if these are Brady violations, exculpatory evidence that's being withheld, and can you appeal, or are you not going to bother?
I'll be real honest with you. For my family's sake and for the better of this country, we need to heal, but we need the truth to be coming. I have no plans on appealing anything at this moment.
Okay.
Because it's important that we figure out what we need to fix. Now, that sham hearing the January 6th committee stood for was absolutely the most propagandized bunch of garbage you could ever get from a fascist state. And I want everyone to understand this. The RNC was complicit in a coup against the sitting president, Donald Trump, a man I didn't even vote for, okay? I voted for Jill Stein, all right? I didn't vote for this man, but the Republican Party, RNC specifically, and the neocons with the neoliberals going after this man, that's where the real crime is, okay? And the reason we won't have resolution from not even, say, Kevin McCarthy and that group of people that despise America, okay, and they do despise it in every facet. They're complicit in what they did to Donald Trump and in impeaching him twice over nothing, okay? That's the reason why you will not get to the bottom of what happened on January 6th. That's the truth. That's what I believe to be accurate. And the lawfare that's going on and being utilized against these people is specifically because of the Patriot Act, all right? Mm-hmm. We do not have representation, okay? either or party, if you vote left or right, Democrat or Republican, these people do not have your interest at heart. They do not care for America first. It's a fact. I come to that realization talking to a bunch, again, of individuals who I butt heads with on a daily basis and try to get them to see and put themselves in the person on the opposite side of the aisle's perspective. And we're fighting the same fight. We have the same goals and intent. We just go about it differently. We've got to unify. We've got to get together and understand that we all have a problem. And they're not the solution.
Yep, government's never the solution.
Peter, we've got less than 30 seconds remaining. I hope that you'll stay in touch with us once you get shipped out into the BOP system. Ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to take a walk over to the Give, Send, Go account that you see across the top of the screen and help this family out. It's not only the J6ers that are behind bars, but the families of the J6ers are taking a hammering from every direction possible. We need for you to step up to the plate and help patriots like Peter Steger.
God bless you, Pete.
We appreciate you, brother, and we'll stay with you. You're watching Cowboy Logic, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with more. All right, everybody. This is one we've been waiting for.
Yay!
Yeah, baby. Brother Bart Shively is going home.
Captain Sticky Butt is going home.
Brother Bart Shively is coming back into society where he's going to make it a better place for all of us. And there's two things that we want to accomplish with this interview. Because first of all, by the time you guys see this, he could either be on his way or real close or home. In Central PA.
About time.
Two things. Number one, we want to give Bart the opportunity to thank you and talk to you for all that you have done for him. But the second and really important thing, Bart lost everything. Bart lost everything. So this is going to be a little bit of a fundraiser we're doing on behalf of our brother Bart Shively. Bart Shively, welcome to Cowboy Logic for what I hope is the last interview that we do with you while you are behind bars, our brother.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me again on your show. It's an honor and a pleasure. And hopefully next time we do talk, I'll be out in the free world.
Hey, we might even be able to do one using a camera and just like regular TV instead of these phone calls into the jail.
That would be awesome.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a look at the Give, Send, Go account down there.
Right there.
G39XW. I've got it memorized. G39XW. Bart Shively's Give, Send, Go. The last time that we had a call to action on this, you stepped up to the plate. And this is going to be the final opportunity that you will have to help build Bart's future and the rebuilding of it you can be a part of. But you got to dig in and you got to make some contributions. He lost everything. I don't know if you can imagine what that would be like. But Bart, I want to give this time to you. You got 9 minutes, a little over 9 minutes to talk to your beloved viewers, because they love you, man.
Yeah, they really do, and they support you so much.
Well, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here and an honor to speak with America, my fellow Christians, my fellow patriots. You're my family. I don't have a lot of family. I don't have much family to speak of, but I do consider the Cowboy Logic audience my family, because you have done so much for me. I am grateful to the point of speechless, to where I am humbled, and I'm in awe of the support and the generosity of the American people for me. I never expected anything like this at all when I came to jail, and it's a godsend. God watches over me. That's a fact. He helps me. I'm sure he touches people's hearts in my behalf, and I just can't say enough about that. I hope everybody out there that's giving to my Give, Send, Go, I hope you are blessed in every way imaginable from God. His hand may touch you, touch your hearts, touch your families, and I hope that he takes care of you in every way possible, because I am truly in your debt, and I love all of you dearly. And if there's anything I can ever do for any of you, please ask me, and I will. If I can do it, I will. I absolutely will.
We should tell everybody that...
I'd like to talk...
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead,
No.
Bart.
No, go ahead.
This is your time.
This is your time, brother Bart. This is your time.
Yeah, yes. I was just going to say, I watched a documentary about the George Washington and the battles that he had leading up to the end of the war. And one of the things that struck me was at Valley Forge was the turning point in our history. And I want to talk about endurance, because when I first came in jail, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was frustrated. I was confused. I was angry with God because I didn't understand why he would let this happen to me when I thought that I was doing right. But when I look back on it all, everything that has happened to me here, I watched that documentary, and it touched my heart, because a lot of soldiers died before they even got a chance to fight.
They froze to death at Valley Forge. They didn't have enough food. They didn't have medical supplies. They didn't have enough clothes. And all they wanted to do was be free. They were fighting for. And out of 12,000, 2,000 of them died that winter before they could even fight to get into the fight. So that touched my heart because, to me, this is exactly what it is back then. It's a fight. It's a fight for our freedom. It's a fight for your children's freedom. It's a fight for our religious freedom. They're trying to take everything away from us. And when I first came here, it didn't really dawn on me because I was down in the dumps for being here. And I was, endurance to me means that you have to endure. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. Life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And you have to, pace yourself. And as you grow and grow older, you become wiser and you learn, you get wisdom throughout your time on life, on earth. And you grow as experiences happen to you. And that's where I'm at in my life right now. I was devastated when I got here because of my cancer situation, obviously. I didn't know how I was going to fare. I thought maybe I would die in here. But God took care of me. God touched my heart because when I got here, I started to go to Bible study with a lot of the guys in here. And that really helped me a lot. It really gave me comfort and solace. And I knew that God was going to be on my side because I knew I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything against God. Yeah. What I did was I stood up for America. I stood up for our values. I stood up for our freedom, our liberty. That's how I look at it. I didn't go there, to cause mayhem or to hurt people. I went there to speak on the behalf of the American people that couldn't speak that day. So I just want everybody to know how grateful I am. I've endured this situation. I've sacrificed, especially when I look back on the forefathers. A lot of them lost everything, their family, their home, their money. That's what happened to me. I've lost everything, my family, my home, my money. I mean, I've lost everything basically in my life is gone. I have to start over from scratch. And that's okay. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that when these things happen in life, when the situations like this come up, you either stand up or you shut up. Because if you don't stand up for your rights, you don't have a voice. Your voice is not being heard. You can go out in the woods and you might as well scream because nobody's going to hear you. If you don't stand up and let your voice be heard, then you might as well, you're insignificant. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel about it. We all have a stake in this game, and the stake is freedom. It's our freedom, our liberty that they're taking away from us bit by bit. They know exactly what they're doing. You see it. I know you see it. You people, you're not stupid. Trust me, I know you're very smart. The people in this audience are smart. They're intelligent. They know what's going on. They see it. I just pray. I pray to God. Every day I'm in my cell, I pray that America wakes up, realizes what's going on, and stands up for their rights and their families. These are your children we're talking about. These people are evil. What they're doing to this country is evil. We all know it. So we need to stand up, and we need to come together in Christ and let God will take care of this if we all pray about it together as a country. He will destroy this evil, this sickness that has overtaken this country. It's in the Bible. It's in Romans 12, verses 14 through 21. If you have a Bible, read it. If you know it, then you know what I'm talking about. It's what has to happen. We have to turn this over to God and let him destroy evil. He will do it if we ask him.
Bart, we've got about 2 minutes left here, and you and I talk at least twice a day, every day, Monday through Sunday. And, as this journey that you've been going through is coming to an end here, and you're about to go back out into society with the rest of us, I think back about the first time that we talked and discussed things when you joined us on Cowboy Logic, and talked about the fact that you'd lost everything, and then we got into the chemotherapy and being thrown into the hole for defending another one of the J6ers in there, verbally, not physically defending him. But you get thrown into the hole while you're going through the body wrecking of chemotherapy. You thought you were going to die there. Then you come back out. You end up doing more time away from everything that you once had that you had lost. And then you start going through the radiation treatment and the burns that you incurred through that. I remember you telling me that you would your wound was so bad that it was just a mess all over your bed, if you can even call it a bed, and towels that you had to use just so that it wouldn't ruin everything else in there. And what it was like to go into a shower there at the D.C. jail when this wound from the radiation was just blistering and ripping your body open. Now you're starting to heal, and that chemical, that toxic waste is coming out of your system. Now you're finally able to go home, but now you got to rebuild. I got about 15 seconds, Bart. I'm going to close it out with this. Society will be a better place when Bart Shively is back in it. He has made us better people. Ladies and gentlemen, we need you to help Bart start that life over again.
Love you, man.
We love you, Bart Shively, and we'll
bless.
see you. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with more Cowboy
See him
Logic.
on the outside. everyone. I'm Donna Fiducia, along with Don Neuen. And we're going to bring on the boy wonder now. That would be one Matt Palumbo, who at age 19 wrote his first New York Times best-selling book. Matt runs the Bongino Report. You can find everything he does at bongino.com, but he has written a ton of books. Matt, I got to tell you, I have a whole list, and I have to recopy it over again because I've run out of...
Let me cover up his phone number. Look at that.
Those are my notes.
That's you, man.
Each yellow spot is a book. And that doesn't even include the last one, The Man Behind the Curtain, which I have memorized. Okay, so you've...
look at that new one.
Yeah.
Yes, the latest one out.
There you go.
Fact-Checking the Fact Checkers, a very therapeutic book to write. They've been driving me nuts for about a decade now, so I finally got a record. But
how's it doing? How's it doing?
So, the Soros book was kind of my biggest success. So it's, nowhere near as successful as that one, but doing, just as fine as, like Debunk This or Dumb and Dumber and those prior ones I've written.
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber, again, was about Governor Cuomo and Mayor de Blasio. And I actually think that Eric Adams should be added in there as well.
Yeah, is there going to be a sequel to that?
A sequel.
Dumberer and Dumberer.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever the sequel to Dumb and Dumber was, like the actual movie. I'll just make the book the same time.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's what it should be. You co-wrote Spygate back in 2018 with Dan Bongino. A bunch of other books. Your very first book, though, at age 19, back in 2013, The Conscience of a Young Conservative. I mean, New York Times bestsellers, folks, and he just
that
turns
one was
them out.
just the Amazon bestseller, but the Spygate was the New York Times. But
well, still
get it eventually.
Pretty damn good. And you're at Matt Palumbo 12, which I contend was probably about the time you wrote your first book when you were 12 years old, but no, it's 19.
Matt, I gotta bring up Spygate. Okay, because recently in the news, we're seeing the same names that you talked about in that book and Bongino talked about for the better part of 2 years, maybe even longer than that.
There's no proof.
We're seeing all these same names coming up. So what's up with that, man?
Well, it's just, I mean, we were always saying, just remember the names. That was kind of like, that was one of the things that we would repeatedly say throughout the book is one of the most important things. And it's just... there's really no coincidences when all these people seem to know each other, start popping up at the same events. And, it's only annoying in that we're seeing kind of confirmation of what we had already known 4 or 5 years ago. So it's just we were presenting the conspiracy version of it when they can still call it that. We now have the facts, and it's now been so much time that it's not even really making mainstream news, and they've kind of been able to ignore it. And I think that was kind of the strategy of the entire time, really.
If they can do that with the Kennedy assassination, they can do it with this, unfortunately. All right, so we had wedding plans and yoga pants, I guess, all that other crap with Hillary Clinton. So now with Hunter Biden, we have, how's the weather?
Oh, yeah, with Dan Goldman's. That was an incredible thing. Oddly, the fact checkers weren't interested in those kind of comments.
Okay, so give us some of the top fact checks that you've done.
Oh, I put together a little list. So one of my favorites was they were fact checking. This is kind of an older one, but they were fact checking whether or not it was true that the Pulse nightclub shooter was a Democrat. A lot of people probably remember that. A lot of Democrats thought it was like an anti-LGBT thing, but it turned out it was probably just an ISIS attack, and it happens to be a gay nightclub. That's just the background. But anyway, so Snopes did a fact check, and what they came up with was it's not true because while the shooter was a registered Democrat, he registered a long time ago, and people change their minds all the time.
Oh, okay.
But of course, they have no proof that he ever did change his mind.
But they can.
No, and his father went to Hillary rallies and was photographed and videoed at them. So
he was one of the 10s. He was one of the 10s at the Hillary rally.
Yeah, correct.
He must have stood out.
Maybe he was at one of those Biden rallies too and stood in his own little circle.
Circle
10% of the crowd.
Yeah. All right. So what other goodies do we have with fact checkers that we all know and we hear about years later?
There was one where, this is actually a funny one. Remember back when, I think it was about a year ago, the Washington Free Beacon was doing a story on the Biden administration. They take this weird approach to drugs, this so-called harm reduction approach, where they've kind of given up trying to fight drug use and have sort of fallen back on, well, if people are going to do drugs, we'll try to promote a safe version of it, which is obviously nonsense. So they were giving out like free crack pipes on the basis that this somehow would have been safer. So it was one of these stories where every fact checker got it wrong, and in the exact same way, where I argue in the book, they must have all been emailing each other like, what the hell do we do about this story, because it looks horrible. So they were all denying that there were these crack pipe giveaways. Maybe Hunter Biden was behind this policy, we don't know, but they were all like denying it, and their rebuttal was like, we emailed the White House and they said it wasn't true, and they just ran with it. So the journalists at the Free Beacon did the next logical step and obtained these actual drug kits to see, well, let's just, see if our reporting's accurate. Well, they already knew the reporting was accurate, but went another step to prove it. They got the kits, and of course there's crack pipes in it. So what do the fact checkers do? Just completely ignore that there was any updates at all, make no changes at all, and we just are supposed to forget about it. So that's how they operate. They will deny reality, and if they get proven wrong, it's as if it never happened. It's incredible.
What's incredible to me also is the fact that they can actually have pictures like in the background of, Seattle burning and Portland burning, and they tell you it's a mostly peaceful protest. You're seeing it with your own eyes. You see the ballots being pulled out from underneath the desk here in Georgia in Fulton County, but no, nothing to see here. It's okay. It was after hours. All the Republican people that were overseeing it had left, and it's okay if they scan these ballots for another 3 hours. Yeah. I feel like, Star Wars. These aren't the droids you're looking for,
I have a whole chapter called Fact Checkers versus Our Eyes and Ears, and it's just examples of that where there's a video of a Democrat saying something dumb, and the fact check is either a denial that this video that we can all see exists, or trying to convince us that there's some sort of context that we could somehow read into it. And it's always something that you just have to be grasping at straws to make sense. Actually, on my list, I think I had an example. Where is it? Oh, yeah. So there was an example where when Biden was campaigning, he said we should get rid of fossil fuels.
Yeah.
So then on the debate stage, I think it was Pence versus Harris, Pence mentioned that and was like, we don't want to elect a guy who wants to get rid of fossil fuels. So PolitiFact was doing a live fact check, and their rebuttal was just, there's no evidence Biden has ever called for getting rid of fossil fuels. Meanwhile, there's literally video of him 4 months prior where he was calling for exactly that, and they either were ignoring the video or legitimately didn't know it existed. So either way, it's not good for them.
No.
Matt, do these mental patients on the left and in the mainstream media actually take themselves seriously and believe this stuff? Are they that delusional, or is this part in their minds of a way to try to pull the wool over America's eyes?
Well, the ones in power, the ones who are spreading information, who control the flow of information, know better. They are partisan hacks, and they're the kind of people where you can literally look at any view on any issue that they've ever held and just find the identical issue with the opposite party, and they'll say the opposite. So like the kind of people who will say like, Republicans, your biggest complaint about Obama was that he wore a tan suit, will also like complain about Trump's shoes or something. Like you can find, everyone's a hypocrite, and those people are the worst, but they're self-aware and they know they're doing it. They just don't care we can see it. Their target audience are the idiots who legitimately don't know any better, but they are very, very self-aware hacks who just don't care that we know they're hacks.
Yeah, they've been fed BS.
It is amazing.
They're feeding the viewers BS for however many years, and the viewers, unfortunately, many are waking up. Obviously, like our Rav family, never would fall for that stuff, but there's so many out there that are totally oblivious to the truth. So hence, we have to fact check the fact checkers. And that means we're going to hold you over for another segment too, Matt, because there's so much more to talk about. We'll be back with Matt Palumbo on Cowboy Logic right now.
Hey, everybody. Don Neuen with Cowboy Logic. Want to talk to you about something serious, your health. DrStellaMD.com. Make a note of that website. You guys have been sending me emails for years, thousands of them. Where do we get hydroxychloroquine? Where do we get ivermectin? How do we find doctors that'll prescribe this stuff? How do we find pharmacies that'll actually fill the prescription? We have the answer for you. DrStellaMD.com. Remember, you use promo code 1776, you get 5% off of everything. What happens at Dr. Stella MD? Well, you can do telemedicine with her. That's where you become her personal patient. Then she taps the shoulder of her network of doctors in all 50 states, including the territories, U.S. territories, and her network of pharmacies that'll fill these prescriptions. Do it now before you get sick. Fill that cabinet full of what you need. DrStellaMD.com, promo code 1776 for 5% off.
On Cowboy Logic with Matt Palumbo. He is the editor. Well, he runs pretty much the Bongino Report, but you've seen him basically on our show and in many places because he's got books all over the place, so we got to talk about it. From 2013 on, he's been writing books, folks. He just churns them out. I don't know how he does it. The last couple of books he had, The Man Behind the Curtain, about George Soros, and Dumb and Dumber, which is the perfect combination of Governor Cuomo and Mayor de Blasio. But his latest, as you see right there, is Fact-Checking the Fact Checkers, and you can find him on social media at Matt Palumbo 12. All right. There's just so much to fact check. And I
want to fact check something right now.
Uh-oh.
Hey, we've had you on our show countless times, and I'm really glad to see that Dan Bongino is picking up on that with us, because you were on Bongino, I think, last week, weren't you?
Yes, yeah. I was on with. I think he saw me on this show, and that's why he discovered me.
Absolutely.
Fact check that.
It probably got me the job at Bonjuno Report, actually.
I think that might be debunked. Okay, you have to debunk
I'm
that.
the fact checker. I'm the fact checker now. Whatever I say goes.
Okay.
Whatever you say goes, man.
So by the way, how is the weather up there in New Jersey? You know, I mean, I'm sure
Are
that's
you
all.
being Dan Goldman? It's too hot. Yeah. I don't know. Like my whole life, I've been very pro global warming, and now I'm like maybe a little less, but I'm still, not against it totally.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of frauds,
Dan Goldman,
or people that actually take themselves seriously when no one else does, Goldman.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Mr. Heir to the Levi Strauss fortune, on top of being a congressman that basically is just out there,
believing himself.
Yeah. What do you find about this guy?
Well, he was lying about the contents of the Devin Harcher interview. How did he try to misrepresent it? He was trying to, sorry, I drew a blank on it for a second. He was trying to present it as if Archer admitted that Hunter was selling the, quote, illusion of access. That, sure, it was all, he was, trying to make these political deals, but, truthfully, it was all BS. He didn't really have the connects. His father, therefore, couldn't be playing a role because, well, he was just selling the illusion. And it turns out he completely lied about what actually happened. The transcript came out a few days later, and the only person who mentions the words illusion of access was Dan Goldman. And he referenced it in his question, and Devin Archer didn't explicitly refute the phrasing, though he did indicate he disagreed with it. And then Goldman tried to use that as validation that was somehow true, that it was just the illusion of access, not actual access. And I don't know. I mean, the desperation speaks for itself. We were just hinting at it earlier that, the narrative has gone from Biden knew nothing about these business deals to okay, he was on the call with the business deals, but they were speaking about the weather. I don't know why you need to consult with Joe Biden about that or quite frankly, anyone. I mean, there's an app for that nowadays, but this is where we're at. The desperation just speaks for itself. There's no way he'd be lying this much if there was nothing, if there's no there.
You start to read between the lines.
I'll tell you why the weather means so much to Joe Biden. Now, if you're going to be in office for 2 years and 8 months, and out of those 2 years and 8 months, you're on vacation for an entire year of that time period, weather is important to you, right, Matt?
Well, yeah, and I gotta say, we shouldn't be mocking him for doing it. We should if it was 80 or 90% of the time he was on vacation, it would be way better.
That's true. Please go away.
We'd always mock Obama over the golf. I'm like, we need to keep him on the golf course. If he was on the golf course the whole presidency, we would have no problems at all. So we need more Biden vacations, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately, all the Obamaites are running the ship still, which is correct.
Let's go there. Let's go there,
yes.
Matt. Obviously, Joe Biden has the ability of a gnat at this point, intellectually, mentally, and even physically. So who are the key players that you see, the puppet masters that are pulling all these strings? Who are they?
Well, I mean, not to plug too many books, but in the last Soros book, I argue, there is evidence that, I think it's obvious for anyone watching, just any observer, that someone has to be pulling the strings because Biden is obviously not there cognitively. He can't get off the stage. But I think there's evidence in how his ideology has shifted, and that if you look up videos of Biden from the 90s talking about things like crime, he looks like a radical right-winger by today's standards, like how the media would portray it, and that he's just was normal, was taught, we should put criminals in jail. And if you get caught with an illegal gun, we don't feel bad for you and say you had a rough upbringing and just stuff like that. And how do you go from someone like that to having, basically the same ideology as a 20-year-old girl? And it's obviously the party as a whole has increasingly gone insane, but Biden in particular, and I would say the past 5 to 10 years, has shifted to the progressive left faction of the party. And I think it's in a large part, he kind of has mimicked those around him. So A lot of people in his cabinet, for instance, have been sort of like Center for American Progress types. That it's a left-leaning think tank that was founded by Soros, John Podesta, and the Clintons. He's surrounded by a lot of those people. Even on his transition team, there was almost 24 people who were linked to Soros, who were on the boards of Soros-linked groups, and just all the people around him. I mean, they were saying when he took office, the adults are back in charge, and it's almost like one of those things where you play the music from Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's in hindsight the biggest joke you could possibly say.
You know what I'm starting to see, and it's kind of good in a way? The New York Times actually is starting to admit that they lied 3+ years ago about Hunter Biden. And some of the people look, Washington Post, New York Times, sort of look like they're a little uncomfortable at this point, some of the people that you see on the air, knowing full well that they are just lying through their teeth.
Well, the media strategy is what I kind of hinted at earlier, where they will know what the truth is, but it's not going to help them. So the strategy just becomes, all right, we mute the truth, and then 3 years later, we pretend we're doing the noble thing, admitting, oh my God, it turns out we were wrong all along. You look special. You look like you're doing something against your ideology. But they accomplished their goal. It's too late for it to matter. No one's really going to be voting based on the Hunter Biden story this time around, unfortunately. But the lack of damage was already done. They kind of,
Yeah, unfortunately.
Did their job as
Matt, we've only got 2 minutes left, and I want to get this question, and I'm being really serious about this. Mm-hmm. You've talked about the fact that you may be retiring at this point from being an author.
Yes.
Somehow I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that we'll fact check that later and find out that's not the truth.
Next interview will know.
But yeah. What's the chance of us getting you to do a fact-checking book on J6?
That'd be interesting. That would be, I think, a good ebook type thing, like a 20-page, like almost just. Like it wouldn't even have to be a formal book. It could just be like top 50 myths and just bullet points of why we know it's BS, and or like it could be myths and then like, I don't know, liberal cover-up gone wrong. Like in fact, I think I have an example in this book of a fact check where they were like 2 days after January 6th trying to fact check or debunk that there were federal informants in the crowd, and it was so premature. There has to be an agenda behind it, and of course their claim there were none. But you could find probably 1,000 predictions like that where the media got every possible thing wrong.
Or fact check. How about fact check the J6 committee?
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that'd be cool.
That
could be a 800-page book.
And it really is the bigger picture, like you say. Nobody really cares anymore, unfortunately, because they've lied for so long. The media narrative is set, and people who aren't paying attention are going to start believing the BS. I mean,
Real America's Voice viewers care.
Exactly. But, I mean, they could have believed Tony Bobolinsky, before the 2020 election.
With COVID. I mean, they kept their kids out of school for 2 years, and everyone just somehow has forgotten already about that. And it was not that long ago at all. It's the media's very powerful.
Yeah.
Mice nuts for brains. Hey, everybody, we need you to do two things. We need you to go buy Matt Palumbo books.
The latest.
Buy this one first. Always buy 2 copies, one for yourself and one for a liberal friend. Now, the second thing is the fantastic website, the Bongino Report. Matt, I go to that every day. It's my first go-to every day. It's bookmarked as a favorite right on my phone, and I go through it every day. The Bongino Report. Matt Palumbo, we love you like a brother. We appreciate the fact that you've joined us once again.
Thank you, Matt.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cowboy Logic shall return. Hey, everybody, we got a brand new sponsor at Cowboy Logic. 1776 promo code gets you 15% off.
SugarCreekGoods.com.
Yeah.
We are talking about all natural cleansers, scrubs, creams. This is the body butter. I love this. This is awesome stuff. Don, let me put a little bit on here. Don uses the Freedom Bar because the Freedom Bar is even more special, right? Because 100% of the Freedom Bar proceeds go to Jan Sixers. There you go. Perfect.
Freedom Bar. All proceeds go to J Sixers.
Again, it's sugarcreekgoods.com. Hey, I got the toner, too, and let me tell you something. It minimizes the pores on your face.
Yeah,
it's
she
awesome.
uses it before the show.
I only used it a couple days so
and
far.
I use this every day. And these bars last. They don't disappear like a lot of this stuff.
That's sugarcreekgoods.com. Sugarcreekgoods.com. Hey, everybody, Donna Fiducia, along with Don Neuen, here to tell you about MyPillow and My Store. Promo code 1776 supports the great Mike Lindell, as well as Cowboy Logic. You know, I got to laugh because on the back, what are you doing? It's coffee.
I'm out of dip.
Coffee, it's not dip.
I'm out of dip.
That's gross. That's gross. It's my coffee. You can get it in many flavors, including decaf. No dip. But for Dawn, it's dip. Anyhow, it's
when
My
you're
Pillow.
out of dip, you can go to this.
It's MyPillow and My Store. Promo code 1776, again, supports the great Mike Lindell and Cowboy Logic and all his great products. That's at MyPillow as well as My Store. Promo code 1776. I love the way Mike says it helps him stay energized and focused. Yeah, like he really needs that. Promo code 1776. Cowboy Logic, everyone. Hey, I have a question. Where's your beaver?
I don't have my beaver on my cabeza right now, Donna. Why? Because I've got this cool thing.
Hey, that is pretty cool.
Hey, we got to
that.
talk about this a little bit. And Donna, you can be the,
we can
Vanna
show
White
them all.
lady over here.
We can show all the different patches.
We've got now. Let me set this up. There's a J6er, Oath Keeper, U.S. Army veteran a retired veteran, that is spending an enormous amount of time in jail, and that's one Kenny Harrelson. Yeah. You guys know him. We love him dearly.
He's been on.
Unlike most other J6ers, and I'm not taking anything away from them, the Harrelsons are not promoting a Give, Send, Go account. What they are promoting is the hard work and the creativity of Kenny's wife, Angel. And she is making these hat patches at our request.
They stick on.
For you all.
With Velcro.
They're Velcro patches. Ron, bring up the website if you. Okay, here we go. This is the website. She's got all kinds of stuff. She's got T-shirts. She's got patches. She's got all kinds of cool stuff. And the website, help me out here, Ron, is Angels Patriot. Help me out, Ron.
I had it memorized.
Battle.
Angels.
Battle.
Yep. Angels Patriot Battle.org.
Okay.
We've got it across the top of the page here.
This is the Ashley Babbitt star.
We had
flag.
her design this and make that. It's a replica of the J6 Ashley Babbitt star flag.
Check this out. Don's got
some Molin Lave stuff.
Yeah. Don's got a tattoo on that one.
Yep. Hey, so does Ron.
And Ron does now too, right?
Ron's got a
Cowboy Logic patch.
But listen, ladies and gentlemen.
And J6ers.
The Harrelson family is not asking for a handout.
Just a hand.
Just a hand.
Yep.
And you can be a part of that by going to this website and ordering some of these products. Angel makes them all. And she was kind enough. Actually, we were one of the first people that bought the J6 flag
These are too cool.
patch that she did. This one here, okay? We don't want freebies.
Nope.
Okay? But we got a couple of J6 in the prison orange that these guys are wearing. I think I'll wear this for the next two segments.
There you go.
Okay? But please,
tattoos.
Go to the website, angelspatriotbattle.org. You can buy some things. Now, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this one, Angel. Here, hold that up for me. Okay. Squirrels always have nuts, and they got to protect their nuts, right?
I thought that was a beaver.
That's right.
It's the nuts.
That's not a beaver. That's a squirrel protecting his nuts.
Protecting your nuts. Oh, my gosh.
And there's a little story behind that we can't tell on the air, but
but you had to show it.
You might be able to order this. This might be a special, just one or two of them made, but
she's got some great stuff, man.
Yeah,
Look how
we
much work
really
she
encourage
puts
you
into
guys.
The Babbitt Star flag.
Pick up the C2B and the J6.
Yep, Cowboy Logic.
Yeah, in the prison orange.
Yep, there you go. And Will and Love.
All right, now, Ron, last segment. I need for you, if you can, on the fly here, to pull up the last couple of seconds of a video that we played in the second segment, in which we've got one of these liberal talking heads explaining to us that there's absolutely no proof that there's any nefarious actions by the Biden crime syndicate. Can you roll that and then pop back to me?
The major pillars that prop up the Republican fiction that President Joe Biden and his family are entangled in some sort of criminal enterprise. The first pillar, a so-called whistleblower.
Yeah.
So-called
Of course, there's no evidence of this outside of an enormous amount of evidence that Donna went into at
100%
length last show.
Yeah.
But now I want to run a video of this is another supercut video, of the libs and the mainstream media puking that narrative out. And it's just appalling at how they regurgitate the marching orders and the talking points.
Talking points.
Joe Biden did nothing, not even approximating improper, much less wrong or illegal.
It's wishful thinking. They're trying to create a scandal.
I think it's pretty
clear, at least so far, there is nothing there.
House Republicans continue their search for any proof at all tying President Joe Biden to his son Hunter's business dealings.
Joe Biden had nothing to do with Hunter Biden's business dealings.
Because they want to dirty up Biden's name.
You know, Republicans have been trying to use Hunter Biden's behavior against the president. Did not know about anything that Hunter Biden was doing.
Biden was simply involved in his son's life in a personal capacity. Republicans from consistently trying to make this argument and create the illusion of some malfeasance being there.
Spoke to business associates of Hunter Biden to say hello, to have small talk, casual conversation.
Hunter Biden talked to his dad on the phone all the time. They talked basically every day. Sometimes Joe Biden would say hello to the people in the room if he popped in or on the phone or whatever.
It's all casual conversation, niceties, the weather.
They never discussed business. These were more of just cordial hello types of conversations. Business was never discussed on those calls, and that was more casual sort of check-ins, casual conversations.
President Biden might have said, hey, quit putting me on speakerphone. You know, are you having a business meeting? Like, what is that about? But do you hang up on your phone, on your side?
Beau Biden, Hunter's brother and President Biden's son, was very ill with cancer and then passed away. That, as the witness today testified, was what these conversations and these calls were about.
We should put this in context. This is a time when Beau Biden, the president's other son, was ill and then dying and then passed away.
Very fraught and sad time for the Biden family, and we know how important family is to the president.
They're doing Donald Trump's bidding, going after Hunter Biden, trying to create a tie to the president.
This is a political move here. It is a politics thing, right? In as much as it's anything else. Fair?
Yeah, I think so. There does not appear to have been a direct business tie.
Because right now you don't see any conduct that's illegal, that there is regulation or law that's prohibiting it, even though it might be highly unethical.
I don't see high crimes and misdemeanors. I don't even see a low crime. I see a son who's using his father.
People with famous last names, using them for their own purposes. People in your families, they're ne'er-do-wells. This is as old as time.
Nice job, Grabian.
Look at the body language.
People serious.
Well, they try to be serious. You can tell by the body language they're starting to not even believe their own BS. That's really the problem. And then you have Donald Trump Jr. getting an anal exam before his father's even sworn in for a 15-minute meeting with a bunch of hoaxsters at Trump Tower. Could you imagine if Hunter Biden was Donald Trump or his kids? The thing is, Garrett Ziegler, who is Marco Polo 501c3, okay, at Marco Polo 501c3, has gone through all of this. You have 140 business crimes, 191 sex crimes, 128 drug crimes, 0 refute of anything, because he's been looking through this stuff, Garrett Ziegler, for the last 3 years. Hunter Biden, he claims, blew $1 million on hookers and cocaine in 11 months.
It's not the only thing he blew.
I'm sorry, a Freudian slip. Maybe not. $1 million in hookers and cocaine in 11 months. And again,
that's a lot of money, Donna.
Has been refuted. It's a lot. All right.
Hold on. Listen, I gotta change direction on you. Now that you're on Hunter Biden and you're on the cocaine thing and the blow thing, Ron, get the Hunter Biden workout video ready. We've only got a minute and a half here. This is a short video, but ladies and gentlemen, this is impressive. This is the new Hunter Biden workout video. And you can see the results. This man that's doing this on this video has been a student of Hunter Biden working out while high on cocaine. Go, Ron. is some working out, everybody.
Driving that
That's working out.
train,
And you too.
high on cocaine.
You too can
Casey
work out
Jones,
just like that man after taking the Hunter Biden high on cocaine exercise course. It's as seen on TV. You do this for about 3 weeks, and before you know it, you're working out like that man in that gym.
That was scary.
Was that impressive or what?
The people around him were scared of
I
him.
don't think they knew what the hell to think.
I don't know. Zero has been refuted by Marco Polo, Garrett Ziegler. You got to remember that. BidenLaptopEmails.com is where you can find it all.
Go buy your
It's
hat
amazing.
patch.
Yes.
Go on the break. Go buy your hat patch. You're watching Cowboy Logic. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, Don Neuen with Cowboy Logic here. Talk about our newest sponsor, Nemo Arms. NemoArms.com. Trot over to that website and check it out. You're going to be blown away at the quality and craftsmanship behind these fine weapons. It's the only weapons company Cowboy Logic endorses. Nemo Arms at NemoArms.com. You want a 223-556 AR platform? NemoArms.com. You want to bump it up a little bit? Go to a 308 Blackout? NemoArms.com. You want to get one of them big boys? How about a 300 Win Mag that won't take your shoulder off because they have fine-tuned the recoil problem? NemoArms.com. We got lightweight models. We got the big stout 458s. These are huge. Hey, Nemo Arms, NemoArms.com. They've also got a beautiful selection of shotguns over and under. Nemo Arms, NemoArms.com. Go check them out.
back on Cowboy Logic. And you know what? We want to have some fun. We got to lighten things up.
That's right. Pretty seriousness.
It is. I think it's time for a boot check.
We haven't done that in a while.
Nope. I'm going to do
kind of
mine.
like Slick Rick.
Yeah, but
all right, you
different.
show us yours real quick. I'll get mine.
There's mine. Mine is the My Pillow Slipper promo code 1776. But Don has to get his boots off. And Slick Rick, these boots are real cowboy boots.
There you go.
There you go, Slick Rick.
How about that one?
That one's pretty beat up.
It's pretty clean.
Is it?
It's pretty
Ooh,
clean.
Listen to the thunder. God's
pretty clean.
God's
See?
bowling up
See?
there. Oh, that
was
just
clean.
gross. I can't believe he just
clean.
did that. He licked the bottom of the boot.
Well, I wouldn't do that if it had like turds on it.
But it has had turds on it. Look how beat up this boot. Look at the heel on this boot. He walks crooked. And that's not good for your back. That might be why you have back problems.
I don't know. I got
He's
back
bow-legged.
problems because I did dumb things.
He's bow-legged.
Hey, listen. Slick Rick and all the guys up there live from Studio 6B, we love you guys. We watch you every night. We love you. And we wanted to do kind of a recap, a montage, a supercut of boot checks over the past couple of years. And we're featuring our brother, Slick Rick, on it. Ron, roll it.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, here's what happens when you've got horses, a barn, the byproducts that come out of horses, whether it's a liquid or a solid, sometimes it's a mixture, and it mixes with the rain and the mud. It ends up all over your boots. Now,
garage doors that don't close, so everything blows in.
yeah, so here's what's going on. Donna's got
They actually do smell pretty bad.
Oh, man. Those are mucking boots.
There you go, folks. Check that out. That's actually mostly mud. I don't see too much crap on there. Dry shod.
They smell like urine.
Yeah, they do, because actually once you get into cleaning stalls with these, it's pretty hard to get rid of the smell with the plastic. There you go. You going to lick these?
No.
You know, Laura.
I got some boots. Got me some boots.
Okay, good. Hopefully they're cleaner than mine, because we do have horses, and it's not been pretty lately. Anyhow, so
hey, if your boots are clean,
break,
you're not a real cowgirl.
Yeah, that's true. And I could show them to
while
you.
you're on,
while you're on that subject.
Hold on.
We were talking.
You got to show yours earlier.
We were talking about this earlier. Actually,
here
funny
we
you
go.
should bring
this is
up.
real time. Hold on.
This is so bad.
Keep talking, Donna.
Brace yourself, Donna.
Yeah, well, you should have seen mine. We showed mine earlier. These are Don's boots. Those are Georgia Boot Company. And that's got real horse crap on them.
Yeah.
Hay, crap, everything.
You got to come to Headquarters Hats in Fredericksburg.
Yes.
Where
They
I
don't
live.
smell bad,
Best
though.
boot store
No,
in
they don't.
town.
Horses never smell bad to me. What is that smell? What is that smell? Man, I'm just like...
What's it smell like?
There's something... it smells like one of the 7 dirty words you can't say on the radio or or television.
Might be my
Starts
boots.
with S
Might be my
and ends
boots.
with
Hold on.
it.
Hold on. Might be my boots.
Oh, man, really stinks. I mean, I have no sense of smell, but I can smell that. What is that?
Is that?
Oh, my God.
Is that it, Donna?
Yes.
Is that what it's? Is that the smell? Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that.
Man.
Look at that.
And he tracks that in the house. You know, most
Is
people.
that the smell?
Yes. Ugh.
What's it smell like?
Smells like poop.
Does it?
Yes.
Now we've all been to the
Most
farm.
people-
Yay.
Most people would
Hey,
take that
Ron.
off when they got in the house.
Come on
but
in,
not
man.
him.
Whew, now
What do
we've
you
all
think of
been to
that?
the farm, dude. I've seen that before.
That would be one Trevor Loudon. There he is.
How
Hey
you
there.
doing, Trevor?
You good? Don, I got to say, there's something disgusting smell wafting through the airways. What are we?
That must be my
going on
boots.
there?
Hold on.
They're
Might
not,
be
you're
smell
not
evasion.
still wearing those same disgusting boots you used to wear last time, are you?
When you were here at the farm, they
I might
probably
be.
are the same boots. When you were here, Trevor has been to the farm. Folks.
Unbelievable. They're
telling you.
outlawed by the Geneva
that it?
Convention, Don. Yeah, they're outlawed by the Geneva Convention.
They are. And if not, they should be.
Man.
Okay.
But
All right. So you look. Hold
I'm
on.
very, very impressed that your boots don't stink this
No, they
week.
don't. So I'm gonna have to show you what All right. Let me put my carpenter pencil down.
The Build Back Better pencil.
All right. See,
Wow.
There's no.
No, they don't smell.
See?
Because you wear.
That's not bad.
But are they worn? Can't
A
you
little
find?
bit.
don't they have anybody that resoles boots anymore?
No, that's the problem.
What is that terrible smell? What is going on with you? This is worse than dropping cough.
You can smell it there?
It's my boots. Everybody's noticing my boots today.
You see, problem is I have no sense of smell because I've been around horses my whole life. I really kind of don't smell it. Isn't that bad?
Hold on, Doc.
Well, he's got to get his boot off again. He'll show it to you just like he is showed Trevor Loudon and everybody
Is that what
else.
you're smelling, Doc?
Oh, that's just gross.
That's it. I
He's
remember
not
that from the
looking that
last
way.
time I was on the farm.
No, don't you dare. Don't. No. No what? Don't you dare lick that one.
No.
Okay.
I'm not stupid.
Okay.
I may take it there, but I'm not a fool.
Okay. Now we're going to see the boots he's got on.
Yeah, this is a Don boot update.
Because he could actually wear a new set of boots every single week, and it would be months before you'd see. These are nice.
No poop.
Yeah, these are kind of
no poop. Clean as a whistle.
Oh, those are nice boots. Yeah, I like those.
They are nice. Clean
as a whistle.
No, you know what? Look,
Lord.
there's like there's like a water line on them though. See that? Because they really need to be oiled. There's a line there. That's from water. That line right there.
It's from
water
sweat,
line right
Donna.
there. No, it's not from sweat.
No, that's from walking in water.
That's from walking in water. Look, on both sides. No. That's really bad. Because this
What
is
kind
nice
of water did you just lick?
pair of boots.
I didn't lick water. There's nothing on the bottom.
Yeah, but he licked the bottom. That's disgusting.
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
I'm making a point here, ladies and gentlemen. This is not dangerous. That wasn't dangerous.
Eat your heart out, Slick Rick.
Hey,
but I like my
we like
pillow
Slick Rick,
slippers.
and we like those boots that Slick Rick wears. Those are awesome.
1776.
Hey, Ron, we got a minute and a half, less than a minute and a half. Come in here. I want to see those beautiful tats that you got, bro. Can you come in and show us those?
Oh, yeah.
Let's see them.
Here, boom.
Yeah, Ron got them a We the People and a Mona
There
Lave.
you go. Show us yours.
Those look nice, Ron.
Don's got matching ones.
Yeah, we got
I
matching
added
ones
the
Yeah.
little Spartan
Yep.
helmet there.
The Spartan helmet
Okay,
is
there's
awesome.
that one. Ron, put that one up real quick. There you go.
Yep.
And then we got
Don's got the other one.
on the forward arm, we got that one. But Ron's got a little embellishment on his. He's got that
I do.
Spartan
I got
guy.
the little
Spartan.
Yeah.
Spartan.
Nice job, Ron. Nice job.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey,
there's obviously a story behind why we have these tattoos, but I just want to be part of the brotherhood, dude.
There you go.
and you've always been. You didn't need tats to do that.
That's where I draw the line.
Everybody,
no tats for me.
please
Yep.
go pick you up some of these. Shop around on
hold
on her website.
Well, she's got
angelspatriotbattle.org.
Yep.
Make sure that you shop around on there and help out the Harrelson family. And I think this is a great time to actually exit stage right and go to our beautiful national anthem. Slick Rick, there you go, bro. There's this week's boot. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor every week to play this. It's our national anthem. Ladies, hand over the heart. Gentlemen, take off your hat. As we have our beloved J6ers do the most beautiful rendition of the national anthem. We'll see you next week.
Have a great week, everyone.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands. One nation, under God. Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey everybody, Donna Fiducia here to talk to you about Cowboy Logic Laser.com. And boy, do we have so many goodies. We have the glasses. Well, first of all, we have the highball glasses and your cocktail glasses, Cowboy Logic Laser.com. Or you have the carpenter pencils, which Don loves so much, and he shows them all the time on our show. And, well, it comes with a sharpener, too, Cowboy Logic Laser.com. And you got coffee mugs. Anything you want, they can laser it on. Now, this one I'm not even going to open up because I almost chopped my finger off first time, but they do have a Cowboy Logic laser knife as well. Anything you want, CowboyLogicLaser.com, CowboyLogicLaser.com, promo code 1776, get you 10% off, folks. And the stuff is just really great. It supports the show, and we really do appreciate it. CowboyLogicLaser.com.
Welcome to the Lance Wallnau Show. You know, this show is always dealing with something interesting. We recently, of course, have been covering the bizarre development in North America of communist-type, Marxist-type government behavior, intimidating citizens, locking them up, threatening them with jail time or imprisonment, using lawfare to destroy them, financially drain them. I'm talking about what Biden's doing with Donald Trump and what Trudeau is doing with clergy. I mean, what's happening in Canada is the canary in the coal mine for the United States. I remember during the COVID period, I was watching Steve Bannon. I think we played this also in Flashpoint, where there was this bold Canadian pastor who was kicking out these grundoons that were being sent in by the Canadian government to go shut down churches. Shut them down because, you know, they're going to declare martial law, and these are spreading centers, which we found out was garbage. And And so this one bold pastor was like, get out of here, cast them out, cast them out. He kicked them out of his church. They were interrupting his church. He stood for his ground as though he was an American, for the freedom to preach the gospel. And they didn't have the right to shut him down. Well, for that, they punished him. Eventually, they ended up forcing him to spend 50 nights in 2 separate prisons, abused and humiliated, and yet, like a true man of God, somehow he found favor with the inmates and actually ministered to them. But that's enough trauma. Now Trudeau